Revolution is a radical change in the established order, usually the established government and social institutions. The people who start revolutions have determined the institutions currently in place in society have failed or no longer serve their intended purpose. Timeline of African Revolution: Algerian Revolution, Angolan Revolution, Egyptian Revolution, and Libyan Revolution. Algerian Revolution, 1954 to 1962. Algeria is located or found on the northern part of Africa, where Algerian Revolution started, which is the Algerian Revolution of 1954 to 1962, also known as the Algerian Revolution of the Algerian War of Independence and sometimes called the War of November 1 in Algeria. An important decolonization war conflict characterized by guerrilla warfare and the use of torture. The war took place mainly on the territory of Algeria, with repercussions in metropolitan France. The revolution led Algeria gaining its independence from France. The next revolution: Angolan Revolution, 1961 to 1974. Angola. Angola is also found or located in some part of Africa, where Angolan War or Revolution started. The Angolan Revolution of 1961 to 1974. The Angolan War of Independence, called in Angola the Luta Armada de Libertação Nacional, or the Armed Struggle of National Liberation, began as an uprising against forced cultivation of cotton, became a multi-faction struggle for the control of Portugal's overseas province of Angola among three nationalist movements and the separatist movement. National Union for the Total Independence of Angola, or UNITA. National Liberation Front of Angola, or FNLA. People's Movement for the Liberation of Angola, or MPLA. MPLA, FNLA, and UNITA. Victory ceasefire after the Carnation Revolution, Alvar Agreement, and Angolan independence in 1975, start of the Angolan Civil War. Next revolution: Egyptian Revolution, 2011, 1952, and 1919. Egypt is the most popular part of Africa, where the pyramids are located. Egyptian Revolution of 2011, also known as the 25th January Revolution, started on 25th January 2011 and spread across Egypt. The date was set by various youth groups to coincide with the annual Egyptian police holiday as the statement against increase in police brutality during the last few years of Mubarak's presidency. It consisted of demonstrations, marches, occupations of plazas, non-violent civil resistance, acts of civil disobedience, and strikes. Millions of protesters from a range of socio-economic and religious backgrounds demanded the overthrow of Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak. Violent clashes between security forces and protesters resulted in at least 846 people killed and over 6,000 injured. Protesters retaliated by burning over 90 police stations across the country. Egyptian Revolution of 1952, also known as the 23rd of July Revolution, was a period of profound political, economic, and societal change in Egypt. That began on 23 July 1952 with the toppling of King Farouk and a coup d'etat by the Free Officers Movement, a group of army officers led by Mohammed Naguib and Gamal Abdel Nasser. The revolution ushered in a wave of revolutionary politics in the Arab world and Africa and contributed to the escalation of decolonization and the development of Third World solidarity during the Cold War. Egyptian Revolution of 1919. The Egyptian Revolution of 1919 was a countrywide revolution against the British occupation of Egypt and Sudan. It was carried out by the Egyptians of different walks of life in the wake of the British-ordered exile of the revolutionary Egyptian nationalist leader Saad Sahlul and other members of the Wafd Party in 1919. The revolution led to the United Kingdom's later recognition of the Egyptian independence in 1922 as the Kingdom of Egypt and the implementation of the new constitution in 1923. The British government, however, refused to recognize full Egyptian sovereignty over Sudan or to withdraw its forces from Suez Canal Zone. Factors that would continue to sour Anglo-Egyptian relations is the decades leading up to the Egyptian Revolution of 1952. Libyan Revolution 1969 and 2011. Libya is also located in some part of Africa where Libyan Revolution started. The 1969 Libyan coup d'etat, or the Libyan Revolution of 1969, also known as the Al-Fatah Revolution or the 1st September Revolution, was carried out by the Free Unionist Officers Movement, a group of military officers led by Colonel Muammar Gaddafi, which led to the overthrow of King Idris. Libyan Revolution 2011. The first Libyan civil war was an armed conflict in 2011 in the North African country of Libya, which was fought between forces which were loyal to Colonel Muammar Gaddafi and rebel groups that were seeking out his government. It erupted with the Libyan Revolution, also known as the 17th February Revolution. The war was preceded by the protests in Sevilla on August 8, 2009 and finally ignited by the protests in Benghazi beginning on Tuesday, 15 February of 2011. It led to clashes with security forces that fired on the crowd. The protest escalated into rebellion that spread across the country, with the forces opposing Gaddafi establishing an interim governing body, the National Transitional Council.